So let's take a short look at how arithmetic works in C. So first of all, you have your different variable types. Integer is just an integer, no decimals. Float has up to 9, double has up to 15. And so let's take this short equation where you have x being the integer 5 is being changed to x being the integer 5 divided by b being the double 44 point something plus c, which is equal to 2 point something. So what you would expect would be a decimal out of this, but let's see what we get. We get 2. So what's the reason for this? Well, x being 5 divided by b, you would think would give us a very small decimal, but instead these things are rounded. So what we end up with is 0. And add c, which is clearly not 2, but because it's going into x, the integer, it has to be rounded. So it goes to just plain old 2. Let's do this just a little bit differently. Change this to a double, and change our print statement to a double. And let's see what happens. Alright, this is more of a number we would have expected. So x being the double 5 is now equal to x being the double 5 divided by b, which should give us a very small decimal. Then plus c, 2.23 something. It's a very small decimal on top of that. So let's check out something a little bit different. Change this back to an integer first of all. Very good. So what if we were to add in this? So let's see what we have here. Another set of arithmetic. X is equal to b plus c divided by x. Well, b is 44.487 something. C is 2.234. And so you would think this would give us 46 if the computer reads it left to right. And then we would divide that by 5, all going into an integer. So what would we get? Well, this time I need to change this to d here because we're dealing with the integer again. So we get 2 and 45. 2 being the one we've seen before from when this was an integer. And then the 45, let's analyze why this happened. So b is 44 plus c is 2.2. That gives you around 46 or so. Divided by 5 shouldn't give you 45 unless c could actually read the order of operations, which it can. So what really happened was you had 2 divided by 44, which gave you pretty much 0. And then b being 44.487 was enough on that pretty much 0 to make it to 45. And then it was rounded, you know, so it could be fit into an integer for x. And so what if we changed it up a little bit? What if we put some parentheses around our variables? Just like the order of operations, you can see that changes the answer. And so C is pretty good at recognizing that it can tell when, you know, you're doing arithmetic operations. Pretty much anything you could do in a calculator or on a piece of paper in math, it can usually tell what you're trying to do. The one limitation being is you're working on lines on a computer, so you can't exactly draw fractions the way you might like to, but you know, it can deal with them. It'll just convert them to decimals automatically. And so C is pretty handy for doing different types of arithmetic. And it can be done in arrays and whatnot, but that's just a few rules that you need to know for doing arithmetic in C.